Look at the top-ranked players coming to each Big Ten program right now. We start off with Zach Harrison at Ohio State. He was a huge get on the first signing day. Five-star guy, top 15 player overall. Michigan brings in safety DAXTON Hill. He was committed, then decommitted, and then the morning of last signing day, he recommitted. He's the #1 safety in the country and top player from Oklahoma. Wisconsin bringing in a monster offensive lineman. Logan Brown is a 5-star, top 20 national guy. They haven't brought in a fella this highly thought of in 12 years. Not since Josh Oglesby came to Madison. Penn State went to Virginia to get their top guy. Brandon Smith is a linebacker, heading to linebacker U. Yes, the same name as former Nittany Lion linebacker Brandon Smith from a couple years ago, but that guy was a walk-on. This one's a 5-star. The Spartans are bringing in O-lineman DEVONTAE DOBBS. This 300-pounder is a 5-star as well. Highest-ranked recruit Mark D'Antonio's brought in since Malik McDowell 5 years ago. Jeff Brom and the Boilermakers signed defensive lineman George KARLAFTIS. This guy's the best recruit the Boilers have had since Selwyn Lyman in 2005.
Wow.
He won a National Defensive Player of the Year award this past season. And Nebraska is also bringing in a top 100 recruit. Their guy is NWANDALE Robinson. This running back was the Kentucky Mr. Football winner and the Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year winner. Now, here's a look overall at some of the other teams, the best guys in every class. And, you know, there's some things to know in here, including Illinois bringing in their highest-ranked player in a decade in Marquez Beeson. Indiana has a running back, Samson James, who's the one of the top 10 running backs in the country. And, of course, Northwestern's top guy does not include the QB transfer we talked about earlier, Hunter Johnson, who was a 5-star commit to Clemson, but is going to play for the Cats this fall. And, guys, it is absolutely possible a guy that we talk about now will make an impact in September, because let me just give some names. Micah Parsons, Isaiah Pacheco, Isaiah Bowser, Stevie Scott, Rashad Bateman, Adrian Martinez, Rondale Moore. These are guys who is true freshmen.
All the guys I picked, Mike. I called every one of them.
And Jerry said, they'll never amount to anything. And Howard said, you trust me. All right, with that in mind, let's look at some of the guys in the league that you all think could be an instant impact type of guy.
No pressure here, Noah Kane. I think he's going to have an opportunity at Penn State really to step in and do a lot of things for him. They asked their backs to catch the ball out of the backfield. They also asked them to block and be able to run the ball well. And he's a guy that IMG really lit things up. And now he was there and shared time with another elite running back, but he showed his ability to work, his ability to cut. Working in the weight room is what's going to allow him to be able to have an opportunity to really have an impact on this football team this year.
Look at a guy like Julian Barnett headed off to Michigan State. They had Justin Lane declare early for the NFL draft. There is talent coming back at the cornerback position for Michigan State, but when you have a kid 6'2", 189, I think he's probably a little bit more than that now. Ran 4.5 on the laser last spring, 39-inch vertical, and played a lot of football at a good program at Belleville. Was also kind of like Justin Lane, a high school wide receiver. So he's got good ball skills, physical, athletic. I think he has a chance that maybe even if he doesn't start next year at that cornerback position, I think he has a chance to come in and make an immediate impact in East Lansing.
You know, one of the reasons the guy plays early is there's an opportunity, and that's what MMAZI Smith at Michigan's going to have, because they've lost some defensive linemen. This is a guy who always keeps good body position. You just saw him beat a double team there because he had the lower pads. He always has leverage on the blocker. He's got really good quickness. He's a guy that's going to fit in the Don Brown's scheme. You can see in here overpowering the offensive lineman. So you need to be a mature guy to play as a freshman, but you also need a chance with the depth, and MMAZI Smith will have both of those things.
And keep an eye in Bloomington on Samson James. This is a 4-star guy I mentioned a minute ago, is a top 10 running back in the country. He's from the state of Indiana, but was originally committed to Ohio State. And oddly enough, the day after Ohio State and Indiana played in football, he flipped and went to Indiana. He is the #3 player in that entire state. And you think about running backs at Indiana making an instant impact. You can go back to just this past year when Stevie Scott set an Indiana true freshman record for rushing yards. Let's stay on the topic of the Hoosiers for a second. They had most of their class, like everybody did, signed back in December, but they did bring in a guy named Josh Sanguinetti into this class. What do we know about him?
He was a big get for them today. He had 37 scholarship offers from down there in Fort Lauderdale. Untitled at University School, a really good program. Can play corner, can play safety, probably will be a free safety at the next level, but's played all around the fields, returned some kicks, played receiver as well. And when you look at the schools that were after him, Auburn, Mississippi State, he had taken some visits to Michigan and Oregon at one point. This was a huge get for Indiana. They stayed on him till the very end and were able to get him signed today. Got him onto campus for a late official visit.